The playoffs are here, and you can predict the action all the way to the finals with FanDuel Predicts. Predict the spread, the total points, and even the game-winning moments that make the playoffs. Sign up and get a $25 bonus with FanDuel Predicts.
Offered by FanDuel Prediction Markets, LLC, a registered futures commission merchant. 18-plus bonus is non-withdrawable and expires 7 days after receipt. Trading derivatives involves significant risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Manage your activity with their consumer protection tools. Restrictions apply. See terms at FanDuel.com/predicts/bonus-offer-terms.
Listen, all you New Yorkers. Excuse me. Taxi. Okay, we're looking around.
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
Breaking news, WABC.
Well, what the heck happened Saturday night? And in the studio with us right now is Tony Clavinetti, former chief of staff to Mayor Rudy Giuliani. The head of the FBI in New York for 4 years, George Venizelos, and Judge Richard Weinberg are one smart former judge of the Supreme Court. And guys, we're going to start off and talking about Saturday night. Something doesn't make sense. And we were talking before that, and along with Rita Cosby, my co-host, we were talking about it before, is when the FBI guy, when the Secret Service guy gets shot in the chest, I would figure out that the other 10 Secret Service guys around him will shoot this guy dead. So, George Venizelos, what do you think? Anything, what do you think could have happened?
It seemed like, when these things happen, they happen so fast. You had this guy running full blast down to where he was trying to get to the doors. Obviously things just happened, and the shots, when shots go off, you don't know who's shooting sometimes.
By the way, George,
and that's common.
Exactly. To your point,
how many total shots were fired?
Yeah, this is what I want to say, because there's a lot of details, John, today in this press conference that came from DOJ and our friend Judge Jeanine Pirro and Kash Patel. They said that 5 shots, that an agent got off 5 shots, and it looks like they believe it's all from it matches one single gun, so it's one agent, they believe. And then they said that the shooter looks like he discharged at least once.
Right.
So this is where it gets interesting, because we're unclear if in the height of it all, as you said, we don't know actually who fired the shot at the agent. The good news is the agent's out.
The other thing, guys,
he could have shot when it fell.
I watch 4 different channels at the same time at home.
Is that it?
No, 4 different four different channels. Plus, I have WABC on Amazon. Plus, I have the television set on.
Yep.
All right, so, and I monitor.
And his shoe phone is working.
Not
like Maxwell Smart.
I can't talk
like
about
Maxwell Smart.
I can't talk about that. The one thing I asked, and nobody's giving me an answer. I asked, you know how many people I asked? Is the guy Afghanistani? Is he Pakistani? Who is he?
Right.
Is he Muslim? Is he Christian? Is he Jewish? Who is he?
Yeah.
We haven't gotten an answer yet.
Yeah, I will say, if you look at his writings, here's at least from the Christian perspective. He was apparently belonged to a Christian group early on in college when he went to college in California. He's brilliant. He went to some very tough schools.
And he worked for NASA one time?
And he worked for NASA. He was an intern for NASA. He got a very coveted NASA internship, and also has a master's, so all these things. And then it looks like in the last 10 years, which is why it's so troubling, George and everybody, it looks like he got radicalized. And clearly in this manifesto, he talked about going after everybody in the room. This was new today, too, from the top down. That's why one of the charges is an attempted assassination of the president. And then also blast Christianity.
By the way,
so it's confusing.
Steve Moore called me before. He just texted me about 10 minutes ago. He wanted to go on because he says there's 2,200 people in the room, and the Secret Service checked nothing, checked nobody.
Yeah, and that's what everyone is saying.
And
John, you and I have been, John, we've been at that dinner before. I can tell you from my experience, it's a zoo. And I know we've seen each other many times at those dinners.
There's a magnetometer.
Yes, but that's the magnetometer, and that's what happened in this case, is not until it's right before the stairs where you go down and into it.
You know what,
Rita? And then General Holt called me before.
Yep.
And he's concerned, and I said this at a press conference before when I was in Staten Island, that the 3 assassins or attempted assassins between the Palm Beach guy were Mickey Mouse assassins.
Yes.
So that way they can't be connected to any country.
Well, you know what's troubling?
And what he's afraid of?
What?
He's afraid of the next assassins will be professionals.
Now, here's my fear, George. What if this guy... Well, and you think, and John, you know, it's a zoo. It's crowded. It is packed wall to wall every time we've been there. And apparently this event was no different than the other ones John and I have been to, where people are mingling. There were protesters mingling on the red carpet. You know, you see Rubio walking by. You see everybody but the president and the vice president walked by, okay, on that red carpet. So even in that area. But what's really troubling is what if somebody had a bomb? What if that guy had a bomb or a grenade or something like that? That's what's so scary.
Yeah, it is scary. Yeah, you know, the other thing that troubles me a little, why were all those people there? Why was the director of FBI there? Why are all these people doing there? Why is the whole cabinet there? Why is the vice president?
Because it was the first time Trump has been in so many years, so they all want to go.
It's a press event. There's no reason for these people to be there.
Didn't we see that movie, Tony Clemente?
Yes, Designated Survivor.
Designated Survivor.
Where everybody died. The whole Capitol went down or something.
Except, what's his name?
Kiefer Sutherland.
Kiefer Sutherland made it. Right. Well, all right.
I just don't see the reason why everybody's
I'm going to watch that movie tonight.
I know, it's a good one.
This is something that happens every year.
No, but I think George's point is
agree.
Very well taken.
The whole line of succession.
They should not have so many people there, and the security.
And the president and the vice president.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes.
And the Speaker of the House. And the Speaker of the House. No, this is serious business.
That's another movie where the Postmaster General became president.
All right, so here's what Caroline Levitt said, you guys, like a little bit ago. She was asked about that by the press, like, should the whole line of succession essentially been there? And she said there were a few people who didn't go because they didn't want to go or couldn't go.
Couldn't get tickets.
And so, I guess they couldn't get tickets. And now we're saying, thank God, right? But she said there were some that were not in the room, but the key ones were. There's no doubt about that.
I mean, I shouldn't say this, but I don't understand why the director of FBI has to be
the deputy undersecretary of education and president.
It's basically a press satire event.
Postmaster General. I understand. Bring in Bill O'Reilly. He's in. Maybe he has an answer.
Yeah.